little bit this way.
So funny how that's just started. I got my cat is still on my laundry. You forgot to send one. Do you want to send it to me now?
I will try.
Okay.
Okay, continue. It's not that much of a change, but I was kind of blocked, and then this morning I thought, oh, I think I know what I can do. Okay.
Oh, you had a breakthrough?
Yeah. So I don't want to leave I don't know how to leave this and send another. Oh, yes, here I
Or just
can.
open up a new screen. Open up like
Oh, yeah.
a new window.
And then, okay. I don't know. I don't. It's okay. We'll. I'll just. I may get to the bit. If we'll see how we're doing on time. So these are the old ones, and I just wanted to get some feedback with you. I don't really like this one. I don't really want to work on it anymore.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like
I love it. It just reminds me so much of Athena's work. I love.
well, that's why you had pointed that out to me,
I
and
mean,
I
if you,
thought,
yeah, you should see her new work too. She started doing black. She's never done black. She's never used black before.
oh, really? Wow. Well,
You guys must be
I,
like,
yeah.
you guys must be communicating telepathically because now she's doing work very much like this, where she only ever used neutral colors. But
Oh,
now
that's
she's
right.
actually using black and white, which is very interesting.
Well, for me, it was, it was the challenge of doing the black and white reveal. So, okay.
I love this one. I love this one. I mean, my only suggestion is that I'm not sure about this arm. Like
Yeah,
what
right.
happened like in
Yeah. I mean, the
here.
arm was, it was so,
I might
it
have
was so blurry. You really couldn't even tell anymore. So that's why I kind of covered it up. But yeah, that was the problem for
mm,
sure.
I'm just I guess wondering I might have actually gone just black. Like the space under her armpit, this space.
Oh, I could still do that. I
Well,
could,
I mean, I think you have to think about it.
yeah, yeah. Oh, that's a good
Like,
idea.
what does that space represent to you?
Doesn't right? Yeah, it's just to me, it's a mess. So, oh yeah, I could put the black in. The other
And
thing
then
that,
we just make it more about her. I mean, you have to do it one side at a time, I think.
so
I like the part around her hair. Like I actually really like this.
I like that too. That was kind of fun. To me,
And I
it,
don't
yeah, go on.
no, I don't mind the gray. Like I like this little bit of gray here and I like the gray on her top and I like the gray here as if she's holding like this piece of fabric behind her. So I guess I'm just questioning like this space,
Right. Yeah. As
this
soon as you
space.
pointed out, I see what you're talking about.
And I
Hmm.
think there would be more, but okay, one of the problems about going black there is that her skirt is black. So I'm a little bit afraid. I don't
Yeah.
know.
Well, so I put the white in, just to outline, to set it off from the black background. So maybe I could do white. Yeah. The, the one thing I know that's good. And I don't want to work on it, but taking your suggestion, I will work on it just to clean that up. But the other thing was those little dots. I had trouble getting them to look neat. I mean, it looks messy to me.
Little red dots.
Well, the not those were okay, but the black dots, because those were really indented. The red ones are just painted, so they just feel clean to me. But these, I don't know.
How did you do them? Tell me how you did them.
I I did the mark, and then I just painted in black,
Mhm.
but I don't know. And I was thinking maybe what I should have done was just put black over the whole thing and then wipe it so it would lift wherever it was not indented.
So, well, I mean, I don't mind them. I think they're kind of interesting.
Oh, okay.
You feel like they're messy?
Yeah, yeah, they're messy. So like her dots always seem nice and clean. They were neat.
Who's that? Athena's?
Yeah.
Maybe it's just the tool she's using. I mean, it could be as simple as like the tool that you're using. If the tool that you're using, if if you're kind of having to work too hard at making the space, maybe that's a problem.
Yeah. Okay.
Maybe you're working harder than you need to because you're not using the right tool. So
Right.
buy the whole kit of pottery tools. There should be one in there that has It's literally like a bar
Yeah.
that goes around, and you should be able to just literally put that in there and go around the circle as if it was like drilled out a
Oh,
perfect circle. So
right.
it's this shape. And if you want to do something bigger, it's like doing any type of that handiwork by hand is just very awkward and presents a lot of irregularities or
Uh,
imperfections, right?
yeah.
So if you do it with a tool that's like precise and you just turn it, you'll dig like, go 360.
Yeah.
That might could work better. I mean, again, like you're trying to figure out what your interests are in the
Well,
medium, right?
yeah. And this is not it. I mean, I want to be able to do the black and white reveal. And then it was really cool to take it to the next step and do the mark making and, add another, the little red dots. But that, it doesn't feel like that's my style. I mean,
Mhm.
I wanted to do it just to learn it, but
Well, this really makes sense to me narratively and as well as and compositionally, like that she's even like tossing, I don't know, that there's some type of like action or splash or something going on that's causing those little dots on the right. You know what I
Mhm,
mean? It doesn't feel random to me.
mhm. Good. Okay.
It has a nice little narrative, which is what I like. I wouldn't, if that whole side and that triangle was just all white, I don't think
Yeah.
I would it wouldn't I wouldn't be able to connect.
Right.
It
No.
wouldn't
Yeah.
make sense. So, but then you're like, okay, you're critical of the way the circles turn out, but like that didn't
Doesn't bother you.
no. I mean, because they like if they were rocks or something like that, they'd be totally irregular. I mean I find them actually more interesting because they are irregular, they're
Oh,
imperfect.
that's interesting. Okay.
But if they were totally perfect, they'd be almost too hard
Hmm.
for like the movement of the piece, I think.
So here's another question because it, had the three layers for the reveal.
Right.
It's really thick. So, when I'm indenting, I'm really going down in there.
Yeah.
And should I have been, doing it and then scraping back and doing the next one? Because I don't think I did very much scraping on this one. I just kept building the layers. So it's a very dense piece.
No, I think the thickness is fine. I mean, maybe you're putting on a little, you can control how much wax you're actually applying to each layer. And you can also put the layer, they don't have to be like super thick, solid layers. I mean,
Yeah, okay.
but I don't think that's a problem. And I like the fact that you had to dig in. It gives you a nice surface. I mean, if it- it's not, it's not good or bad. It just is what it is. I mean, there's ways to make it a thinner layer.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
mean, to like like i I feel is it bothering you because there's like an obvious edge between like the photo and the wax?
Not that so much. I still don't really like the messy, like her hair. There's a messy thing I see I need to clean up. But
Mhm.
no, that part that I'm
Oh, at
okay
the
with
top
that.
right here at the top.
Yeah, yeah, that's
I
messy.
mean, if what, yeah, you can kind of do some finishing touches with like pigment sticks,
Yeah, just
which are easier than wax and really, and also like for me, patching, because I think I did so much like spotting photographs. It was always just easier for me to like go over that surface. That's was the easiest thing. So like fill the hole in or cover the hole so it's not so obvious. So like this one, you could put a little bit of white on it,
yeah.
and really, like, nobody's gonna see those types of marks like you are. Like,
Yeah.
you're gonna be more aware of it because you worked with it, you made it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you could put like see all these white dots.
Oh yeah.
You could cover those up too, but like, why? Like, that's what's beautiful about it. It's like you need to embrace the sort of nature of the wax,
Okay.
and like even here, like this little irregularity where this thing is
Mm-hmm.
coming out of her skirt, like that's what I like about it.
Oh, that's interesting. Okay, so just work with what happens with
I
the
think if
wax.
it's so perfect, you're trying to. I think if you're looking for perfection, you're actually just taking away from what's good about the
Okay.
wax.
Okay. Yeah.
All right, let's see the next one. That's I really like that one. All right, so these are works in progress, right?
No, yeah, they're just sketches that I did in Photoshop. I mean, just to kind of get a sense of it.
You know what's so funny is when you take away the context of the tree. You know what shape? You know what this looks like, don't you? like a shell and a seashell.
Oh, I hadn't thought of that. Oh, cool.
Yeah, and it's like, and this is a wave. Look, this is like
Yeah,
the ocean.
yeah,
This is very like,
yeah. Well,
that's
yeah, I did
really
put the
cool.
ocean. I
Oh,
put
there
the,
you go. Oh, wow. Look at, yeah, there it is.
so to me, these are kind of more like Photoshop things than some. I don't think I'd want to wax either of these, but
I
I
think
did,
they're really cool. And I just think they're really cool in Photoshop. I,
yeah,
I
yeah,
think
they are.
I like the darker one better. I like them
Yeah,
both.
yeah. But I was thinking for waxing, like this one, I'd want to show all the bubbles of the wax and all that. Anyway,
Mhm.
so I played with that, and I've been thinking now I don't want to wax either of those two, but I do want to explore this where I expand the canvas.
Okay.
Um, so what I have now that I've already started on, because you had mentioned it, but it's more like it's a vertical. So the whole right side is gone. It's just
Okay.
the original um, photograph that you printed for me, and then I painted in. So that's what I have to work on now. So
Okay.
I thought, well, okay, I'll start with some of this. But then you were saying, it's nice to have more space,
Yeah.
open. Yeah.
I think I
So,
agree with you though. I think that this would work really well in a vertical space versus a horizontal space. Is that what
so
you're talking about?
that's what I have. That's what I have to work on. Actually, I have two of them to work on. So, I've played with different things with what I would do with the paper, but if you see it as a vertical, that's really what I'll be working on next. So the two verticals, and then you know,
Or a square. I actually think that you're doing really well with the square. Did you think about a square?
well, it's just that what I have now is vertical,
Okay.
and I thought, well, I'll play with those, and then yeah, I could make it into a square. I could make it into extend the canvas, but
Their body position are just, it's so like ocean. Like now that I've seen it with the ocean, like
that's
it's
funny.
so like she's in a
Never
boat.
seen-
Like this is like a shell. Like she's in a
Yeah,
boat. Their hair and the position, like they're like, oh, like
yeah,
like
yeah,
it's
yeah.
it's really it's really interesting. I mean, you could put other boats. I mean, this is like it's like a voyage picture. It's like this is some type of vehicle,
Yeah.
and they're looking for the future, like land or whatever. It's really cool.
Well, actually, now that you said that about the shell, the one picture I have, it's textured bark and it'll stay as a tree. But the other one, the other vertical that
Uh-huh.
you had printed,
Yeah.
like I said, I painted in the neutral, but I haven't put anything down. But I could make that into the tree into a shell,
Yeah.
and then expand from there. So that's cool. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, I think too, like I feel like you don't need as much content as you think you need
Mm-hmm.
in the
Mm-hmm.
photos. So like
Mm-hmm.
if you just use the ladies in the tree and you kind of just wax, I think that you like what you're doing in the collage is I think you're mentally
Mm-hmm.
seeing, a
Yeah.
narrative or a scene. But
Mm-hmm.
I honestly feel like you could create a lot of this with wax, that you don't need these photos.
Right. I don't want to work with either. I mean, I did them as sketches thinking what would it look like, and then I thought they don't feel like wax pieces to me.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. Well, good.
No, they're really cool photos. I think I prefer this one.
I do
I
too.
like them both, but I really like this one.
I
It's
never would
so
have thought of changing that. Anyway, it's a whole different.
it's so dramatic. It's really interesting. It's very beautiful, and those two pictures work really well together. You did a great job. You did a great job. All right. So,
So
and this
that's
one,
that's that. Yeah.
you're gonna work on this one.
I'm going to work on this one as a vertical. I think of it. I just have the rock and the tree. I don't have any of the newspaper I don't have anything else. It's just the two of them, but with blank space, that blank neutral space
Mhm.
all around them. So I can just do whatever I want with it.
Yeah. What about the background? How come the background is that just like are you gonna go with that color or are you gonna?
I don't have to. I painted that in. It's acrylic that I painted on, but it doesn't have to be that.
Right.
I'm not quite quite sure why I did that. Yeah.
I actually like it. I like it. Do you see how much it changes the tone
Mhm.
of their
Yeah.
skin? I mean, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? It's like, and it sort of offers a lot of possibilities. I mean, I'm curious what you do next. So
Okay.
you're gonna work on this one.
Yeah, I'll work on that as a vertical.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay, so you want me to go, did you send me more pictures?
I did. Then
Okay, good. I'm gonna
there's
go back
a
to my email.
email right before that one. It's the one underneath.
Okay. All right,
Mhm.
that's the time for today. This one. Okay, here you go.
Picture.
All right.
Yeah, these are the ones. So that's the what I ended up with after our last tutorial. I
Oh,
worked, I kept the
wow.
great,
Okay,
and
wait.
I did
Yeah.
the picking stick, and I,
Oh,
did the finger, and yeah, that's much closer to what I want. I mean, yeah.
that's really what you want?
Well, it's much closer to what I'd like. Um,
I love it.
I really,
So
I think
I,
it's upside down. Sorry, it's
it's
upside.
upside down.
Yeah, I just realized that.
I feel like you're still trying to really, I'm just gonna say, I feel like you're trying to define these, like maybe overly define these spaces a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, I don't, I find that this, like the sort of connection, the flowers are beautiful. Like, especially this white one. I love this yellow circle, but I'm just finding this blue corner just a little bit
Too much.
too, this line is being too hard,
Oh, right.
because then
Okay.
it just makes the circle just so circular. It's not like, I think it should be more ambiguous about what that circle actually is.
Like
Does
a
that
bit
make
more
sense?
glowing. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because I don't think it's like a ball. It's not like a Christmas ornament, it's not
Yeah.
but this flower. So it's like your options are, and it pulls away from this flower. Like, I want to stay in this space, but I'm
Oh,
like
okay.
it's competing. It's
Mhm.
like these three
Okay.
spaces are together, like the flower, that circle, and this flower. So
Mhm.
I think you could do one of two things. I mean, I think you could simply take wax and
Mhm.
go over this,
Tone it down. Mm-hmm.
just go over it, like with a brush, one brush stroke, and it could be just clear or whatever. And then let this yellow flower kind of sneak out the side and let this white flower stay sharp. Does that make sense?
Yes. Yes, it does. Now, when
Everything
you
else,
say one stroke, are you saying just for the yellow part, or also with where the blue is? Because that's
let me see if I can,
sort
no,
of where that line.
let me download it. I'll put it in Photoshop for you.
Okay.
I think that's helpful when I do this.
Because I spent a lot of time, getting used to this idea of rubbing it in, and I had problems because it's so hot here. So I had to make sure it wasn't too warm because then it would lift the wax.
Right.
Trying to rub it in. So it, it took a lot longer than it. Hmm. So it's upside down. So if you
Oh,
turn it,
it is? Okay, hold on. Oh, it's upside down. Oh, wow, that might change everything. All right, hold on.
no, I don't think so. I think the yellow was bothering me also. Yeah, and I see what you're saying about that. That line was too defined. Flip it vertical. It should be fine.
Clockwise, counterclockwise?
Oh, vertical, the last one.
Oh, wait.
Oh, okay. So
Again?
that flower, yeah, do it again. This should be the left hand. So it's more like going in.
Is that the right way?
Yeah, that's it.
Okay.
The other thing I worked on with this one a lot, it took me a while. I really had to work on, having a very light layer of wax so I could see the photograph so I didn't obscure it. And that meant I had to keep
Yeah.
scraping back. So that
Yeah.
was really good
Yeah.
practice.
Yeah.
And then the other thing was with the wax, and then when I fused it, I had to make sure it was really, really smooth. So when I put the pigment stick on, it wouldn't be bumping it all over the place. It just went on
Right.
nice and smooth. So that was a huge, like
These
learning.
areas, like these, some of these floral areas are just so beautiful. They're
I
really working for you. I mean, just really gorgeous. And I love the white. It looks like there's a white flower underneath like a yellow glaze. And
hmm,
it's funny, like I just feel like, do you see, this one doesn't let me, oh, maybe I can draw on it actually. It's like,
I see how what you're saying. It's just too
it's like this
defined.
area right, this is, I don't know what the heck, I don't know how to draw on this. I don't know what this even is.
Oh, I
I don't
can't.
know what
The
this,
pen. You don't want the pen tool. That that's
I don't know what
crazy.
that is. Yeah, I don't even know how to use that thing.
Yeah, I can't. I
So
can't.
it's like this blue.
Hmm.
It's got two like heavy. Do you see how this area right here is so
Yeah.
lovely and it has like lighter blues in it? I mean, literally, don't scrape. Like, don't hurt this or scrape this. Just make this dark blue a little bit like lighter blue, so it suggests like these sort of underneath flowers, you know?
So with pigment stick, you rub it in,
Yeah,
rub it in.
and I think I would do that first before I even like try to change the shape or anything of that yellow
Okay.
circle,
Okay.
because maybe it's just this hard blue line that's really the problem.
Well, that's part of it. Yeah.
Let me see too. I'm curious if I put, sometimes sometimes I can kind of,
Oh, I can hear the birds.
I know, I just have, we have great, you know, it's sad though, the tree across the street got killed by the lantern bugs last summer.
Mm. Mm.
They really liked that tree, but now I know it's gone. It's dead. It died. It died a lantern bug death.
Oh.
Yes, sad, right? So do you see how I just made that light blue?
Yeah.
That's like,
So what you're doing now, I tried it in Photoshop, and yeah, I can do it. I play with the opacity, and look, but I found it really hard to do it with the pigment stick, and it didn't show up so much here, but in another one that we're going to talk about.
you see how much better it is, just even just lighter?
Absolutely,
I mean,
yeah.
even just that, like even just that. And honestly, you could have done that with pan pastels. You could have just
Oh,
if that's dry.
okay.
I think what's going to start to happen for you, and I feel like it's already starting, is the more familiar you become with sort of like what you want to do. It's like you're going to start to connect how
Uh-huh.
to do it.
Yeah.
Like first you're going to like see it and be like, oh yeah, this is what I want to do, and then you're going to go, what material am I going to use to do it, right?
Hmm.
So that was like, that looks so much better.
It does.
I mean,
Yeah.
it just,
Right.
it didn't really do anything. It's not like you painted a big white flower there. I mean,
Yeah.
you just literally blended in. And look, I just went
Oh,
from
I
like
really
little
like
light
it.
blue, and then like you could put some lighter blue in there.
Uh-huh.
It just kind of gives that same abstract like softness of this other parts of the picture.
But it also gives it dimension because it was like a block. Yeah. So it.
Yeah, I mean, and look, see, I put a little bit of it over here,
Yeah.
and even just like a little bit over there. Just so that's like, I'm gonna save this and email to you, and then you can kind of look at this, and then just, I mean, really, it could be done with with the the pan pastels, I think.
Hang on.
You know,
Um, I forgot how to make a
what do you
screen.
call this one? I'm gonna email to you this picture.
Okay. Um, what do I call it? Wait a second. Oh, it's the
Mm-hmm.
lens baby flowers, because I was also experimenting using lens baby, and I
I would call
wanted
it
to get
baby. We'll just call it baby flat baby.
lens baby. Yeah, baby. That's fine.
Baby. We'll just call it the baby. All right, it's just our baby picture.
Because I really wanted to set something else where I could get the depth, because I was kind of working with that on the picture before this. So I feel like this is much more successful. Okay. All right. You can send a copy as a JPEG, and that's fine.
It won't let me.
No, if you save a copy, you can get the JPEG. Go over to the right.
It did, like, but no, my Photoshop never did this to me before. I don't
No,
know.
this is that's a new thing. I just I was having trouble with it too.
I don't like it. I'm not happy. I'm
Yeah.
not
See,
happy at all. I'm not happy. Oh, okay. So that's how you get
yeah,
past.
as a copy, you can do it at JPEG.
All right. Well,
Otherwise,
we'll just leave it as a copy. Then you'll know it's the copy. Yeah,
okay.
I've been that just happened. That just happened like
I
this
know.
week.
I know.
I really don't like it. I was like, where is my JPEG option for saving a file? I never use TIFF file. I'm not going to use a TIFF file.
Yeah, yeah, and it's too big to send. Yeah, I really like that a lot
We
better.
could have right. So we did it by you. You're gonna see. So in Photoshop, we could have also done it like burning and dodging, right? We could have
Yeah,
dodged it out, but that's not really helping you in terms of like how you're making your artwork. You know?
right. Well, it's learning, working with the temperature of the canvas, because I'll put it in the freezer for a while, and then I've started putting it in the freezer and then bringing it out
Yeah.
and getting it to the right temperature so it doesn't stick to my finger, and then start. So I'm just playing
Your
with it.
determination, yeah. But it's
Well,
so many cool textures. It's really beautiful.
thank you. I like
And
this.
I would leave that circle appeared there. I wouldn't take that circle. I wouldn't get rid of the circle. Don't
Now
get
that
rid of
you've
it.
toned down, now that you've
Just
softened
lighten the blue around it, right? So it's kind of like there's two things going on.
yeah,
And that's I would think the less aggressive, more like,
yeah,
ah,
yeah.
that circle appeared. What's it there for? And then going and figuring something out. All right. So I think I saved a copy of that. I'm gonna close that window. I'm not.
Great. That's great.
All right, that was great. And it's very I have to go back inside now because my battery's gonna die. It's very celestial. It's kind of like the stars. It's like flowers in the stars. It's very like astrological.
I hadn't thought of it that way. Nice.
Yeah,
Okay.
looks like stars or something. It's really pretty, especially from far away. Sometimes I see more visions of the pieces when I look at them from far away or when they're small.
Oh, coming in close. Yeah.
Yeah, or they're small. I can kind of like summarize them better when they're not so in my face and large. Okay.
This is you had suggested I put black around because it was brown.
Yeah.
So that's what I did. I just kind of tried to complete it. So I just wanted to show you.
Absolutely gorgeous. How do you feel about it?
I really like it.
I
Yeah.
love it. I mean, I just think it's a beautiful, beautiful piece. Absolutely gorgeous.
And I'm thinking now about the next one that I want to do. And I was thinking about having more clear wax on her, having her not as defined.
Uh-huh.
And so that's one thing. And I haven't, I'll start playing with it.
I absolutely love it.
Yeah, I do too. Thank you.
It almost looks like too, it's really hard to tell if it's wax or embroidery. Like I love that ambiguity of what it actually is.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's beautiful.
Cool.
Yeah. It could easily be like all sewn like tapestry and needlework.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Now this one has a story because I took pictures of fake flowers.
Uh-huh.
It was in a circle, so I wanted to have that, and I just and I wanted to work with this color palette. I was kind of developing it.
Yeah.
I had to scrape the whole thing back once because the flowers weren't coming through enough for me to work with.
Yeah.
And then the other thing that happened with this is I I decided to start using some stencil, like through lace. It wasn't like a flower stencil; it was lace, and so there's like dots. But then when I heated the wax, it started having its own a life of its own. So up on the right hand corner, that was that's just lace stuff. And then on the
This purple area.
yeah, that area, and then this area down here, I kept at some of it was based on a flower from the photo, but then I kept doing different things with the lace and really melting it, really letting it create its own flower.
Huh.
So I like those two parts of it. I had a lot of trouble with the center.
Right.
Um, I had to, I don't know, it's just hard for me to paint. But anyway, so I was working with that. I left that for last. Oh, and lower right hand side, that was green, and I like the texture from the leaves. It's just leaves.
Mhm.
But then I went to tone down the green a bit. Anyway, so I play for me. This was one about taking stencil and letting it really melt under the heat gun,
Okay.
which was interesting. And I did a lot of scraping back. This is pretty smooth. I did a lot of scraping back, and then heat gun, and then scraping back. So it took a lot more work than you'd think. Just like, oh.
Download this one. Let's work on it. So um, I think that there's some interesting portions to the image.
Exactly. Like I love the lower left hand flower. I mean,
So
I
let's
just,
so
yeah.
again, like let's just deal with what you love.
Like I feel like I could just, if I had just that without the blue flower in there.
Oh wait, I don't want to do
I
this.
really, I just like it. I love the movement of it and the colors.
And
And I like the fact that I allowed the wax, serendipitous. Like all of a sudden it was melting and moving, and I thought, ooh, look at that.
right. So I think one of my concerns in it is like again like that hierarchy question that we've talked about.
Hmm.
So what's the most important part to you, and then what is falling off and sort of like supporting that? Like how is that? So
Yeah.
would you say your favorite part is this bottom corner?
Yeah, that's my favorite. The other, it's not integrated. It's like, oh, I tried this technique here and this technique here.
Well, okay, but let's wait, now that I want let's see what happens if we lighten. Let's just I don't want that. Where's my tool? Let's see if we lighten this corner, what happens. So
Okay.
honestly, as far as I'm concerned, this purple guy
Yeah.
could just go.
Okay.
Could like leave, like be
Mhm.
taken off.
Ooh, look at that. Oh,
So that's my immediate reaction is that we just kind of go in here. And
yeah.
again, like you could do this with
With pigment stick or pan pastel. Okay.
I mean, right. So you're not scraping anymore. You're
Hmm.
kind of creating a light source.
Oh, I really like that. Wow.
All right. And then like what I was saying too is like I would just completely and you don't have to actually scrape this off either. You could just, change it. You can make it just less defined, right? So
Yeah.
again,
Put
like
wax over it.
you could put some wax over it. I mean, you could, yeah, you can put clear wax over it. You can put some,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, so that
Oh,
just
looks like
quiets,
a flower. Yeah, it looks like a flower there.
right? And technically, like what I just did by I basically, you can see that it was there, but now it has no definition. So it's like under, you
Mm-hmm.
could literally just wax over that.
Mm-hmm.
That's a possibility. And then maybe like this one gets a little bit sharper. And then it's kind of like, okay, this is the beginning of the garden, right? So here, this flower is like coming over. These guys are coming around. These guys are coming over, right? And then this has to go darker.
It was darker, and I was trying to do a light palette, but no, yeah, but I understand what you're saying. Yeah, okay.
It doesn't have to go crazy. Did they move my, all right, let's see. Let's see what happens if I go darker here. So maybe it was the color that you were going darker with. I mean, remember, you don't always have to use green. You can use gray, like paint gray, or graphite gray,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
right?
Okay.
And
Oh, wow. Oh, yeah, I do like it.
maybe
Yeah.
not the whole side,
Right.
maybe just this corner,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
you know? So basically by making like one side lighter and one side darker, you're really just like, it's almost
Right.
full expanding it. So it
Oh,
doesn't,
it looks like the light is coming in for the upper right, and then it's falling off, this diagonal.
right,
Yeah.
exactly, exactly. I mean, you could ground it a little bit more in this corner too if you want. You could ground, anything that you make like lighter and darker contrast wise, you're just kind of emphasizing,
It gives it depth. Yeah.
yeah, you're just like making it more 3D, you know?
So I was, but there's another thing. I
Right
see what you're doing
now,
with
I
this one.
really love this. Like, I really love it.
Wow.
It
Yeah.
has a similar style and presence to your other one. You
So
know,
here's another here are two other questions. One was I was trying to go for a very light palette, like very pastel-y. I love what you've done with this. So yeah, I will do that. But I'd like to be able to work with something where it is the whole thing is lighter, you know, or even white, because that's hard. I mean, without messing it up. So I can't do it on this one, but that's something I'd like to get into.
you very light work.
But just try it. I mean, that's another challenge.
Yeah.
Uh,
So you
really,
have to use a lot of wax medium, and you should be using all of your paints very diluted.
okay.
And what, very neutral colors.
So
White, beige,
yeah.
light gray.
So my second question was, I was going back to the picture that was in the gallery, the flower picture that you had. I just love it. It's
Which one, the
you
tulip?
have you have the green. Um, it was the recent exhibit.
Which one was it, the lady with the tulips?
No, I love that one too. But this was just totally floral and it's just dancing. And I remember there was a like
We can,
dark dark green leaves coming up on one side or the other. So I was wondering if I should do
oh, I
just
know which one you're talking about. You're talking about the little one with the dark flowers. Well, this
yeah.
is very similar to that. I mean, the only thing that you don't have in this one that I had was something very dark and stencily. I mean, you kind of have it here, right? Also, I had a little bit more, I think,
The flowers were in front of each other, back of each other, and a lot more detailed painting. You know, it was just beautiful.
I'm curious about the saturate. Hold on a second.
Okay.
This is, so this is like with more,
Oh my gosh.
do you like,
Well,
this is like where you were,
yeah.
and this is like if you added brighter, more vivid colors.
Ah.
Do you like that better?
Um, it's
I mean,
interesting.
it's interesting to think about it. Like,
Yeah.
not like
That's
that
too
before.
much. Yeah.
Yeah, but okay.
That's interesting to do it as saturation. Okay. I kind of like the muted ones, but I also something where whoa, that's too much. No, like you had it. Yeah, about there. That's definitely much more vibrant than what I have.
Wait, let's compare. I'm gonna save this one too.
Okay.
See.
So interesting. And it's fun to do it, see it on do it as a sketch on Facebook.
Yeah, it's nice to be able to work like hypothetically.
Okay.
Really like hypothetically.
Yeah.
All right, hold on. Let me see if I can put them both in Bridge. Hold on. Oh, I feel rusty on the old computer skills. Oh.
Oh, you've been painting and
I've been
through the
like I've been actually living like a natural life
mm-hmm,
outside of the box, outside of the computer box. Oh. All right, here we go. Let's see if they did you see them?
Gee, I don't see that much. I don't see.
No, it's not the one, the third. No, this is we're missing the new one. Here we go.
Oh, okay.
So we should have three.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Oh, I like that. Wow, it just has so much more depth to it. Oh, that's too much for
This
me.
is yours. Wait, this is the original.
Yeah,
This was the one that we worked on, and then this is the.
the one with more saturation. It's too much. It's interesting.
Too much, but maybe some of it is good. Like
Yeah, yeah,
more saturation, I think really helps these blue flowers,
yeah.
and I
Right.
think it helps this flower.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it's too much down here, although
Yeah, yeah,
it did definitely make this one look more like a flower, and it made
yeah.
these flowers pop out.
Uh-huh.
I mean,
Wow. Yeah. Oh, that's really fantastic. Okay.
it's really kind of amazing to see the three of these images,
Mm-hmm.
you know.
Yeah. Much, much better because It just didn't feel integrated before, but now it's
Definitely know that that upper right hand corner flower has to go. Like this,
okay.
and it can go. It doesn't. You don't have to scrape it off, because if you scrape it off, that's like the biggest risk, right?
Mhm.
The easiest thing to do is just cover it with wax.
Right.
Just wax medium, just go over it and then fuse it and then like blend it out, right?
Yeah.
With
Okay.
pastels or, something, something, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
And then I think that you could add a little bit more color to the middle of the composition, which is like in here, add a little bit
Okay.
more
Yeah. Yeah. I like that.
down here in the lower left, just a little bit more color, not a ton, and don't
Mhm.
overwhelm
Mhm.
yourself. Like subtle, just a subtle movement should be enough.
Okay. Great. Good. And I love the, how you've lightened it. It just, it gives us so much more depth.
Yeah,
Yeah.
these are lovely. Okay, so I'll email those. Let's see. Let's talk about the last one because we got.
Yeah.
Let's
The
talk.
last one I had so much trouble with. I can't, oh, it was awful. It was a nightmare. And finally, I felt like her hand looked like a claw. And I just said, oh, I'm just going to put a flower on it.
So
But
you're
the one I sent, I thought I had sent you just before the class was I enlarged the flower. So it goes up under her chin.
it's,
Um,
your body has completely gotten like dwarfed or something. Like something weird has happened to her body.
well, she looked too thin before. So I kind of,
Her head looks too big, and it has probably
yeah,
now she looks like a tiny person.
yeah. I
Just
don't know. This one really, I don't know. It just is, I spent so much time on it. Um, I did a lot more pigment stick, smoothing it in. I didn't like the arms, the way the arms were. Her shoulder was way too thin. So I tried to open that up because of the head. The head looked too big. And looking at it now, yeah, the head's still too big.
yeah.
Um, and that arm, must have done the arm about 8 times, with the hand. And I can't tell you. It was like a nightmare. I said,
Fingers are
get the hand out. I can't, I don't want to do this hand anymore.
get this away from me. Um, I
And
mean,
maybe it just doesn't work, and that's okay too. I mean, I did a lot of practice things. Oh, that's a thought. Ooh,
is this on wood or on paper?
it's on wood.
Yeah.
Yeah, and if what I wanted to do, I made that flower bigger, and I just was going to put some wax and maybe even a little bit of white in the wax just to soften all that. The
I mean, I
flower.
think that's so much better. I mean, I just like that so much better. Like, right, you know what I mean?
Yeah, just forget the other stuff. Ah, that makes life simpler.
Right, but you can't really cut the panel. I mean, you could,
Oh, I see what you're saying because it's not paper.
right?
Yeah,
But you could do it again. I mean, all right, let's just go back. I mean,
I probably won't do it again. It's a picture I had printed for hand coloring,
uh,
and I says, oh, I'll just work with this. But
hold on a second. So for me, the first thing that I do when I'm struggling is I go right to lighter and darker, right? So part of I think your problem is that this is so
well, and you had done the dodging on it before, and I really liked it, and I had a lot of trouble getting the white pigment stick to be to go over it. Now I'm getting a better sense of the temperature that I have to have, so it doesn't
okay,
just
that's
stick
good.
everything up. So I can rub it in, but it wasn't working at first. Oh, just take out her arm.
Yeah,
Goodbye.
completely take out.
Okay.
I mean, you can look, and you know what? Okay, so first of all, like I don't that is a million times better right
It
there.
is a million times
Okay,
better.
and then
It's fantastic.
also like this, like her face just shouldn't be so
Yeah,
vivid.
I was wondering if I should just go over it with
Yeah,
like
I mean,
wax.
like look, I just literally like brushed over it with green. I mean, like that looks even better, right?
Yeah,
I mean, and then
yeah, it's much softer, right?
I don't like that one, but you know what? I mean, literally that could be clear wax. Let me go back. So
Yeah, because it felt like a well. He said don't have a well. So okay.
But I was just going to tell you to look at like, like look at, you're allowed to have like dreamy, surreal, like people do paint like this. I mean, Frida Kahlo painted like this,
Oh, look at that. I like it.
Right. So
Ooh,
that would be the equivalent of,
Frida
you know,
Kahlo. Okay.
a light translucent wax.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that flower, I mean, so sometimes when I do is I put flowers on that are so obvious, and I'll
Yeah.
have to like take away half the flower,
Oh, okay.
like feel comfortable with it, because it's like you don't want to be so like blatant and obvious, right? You want to entice the viewer
Right.
to imagine stuff, right? So you want to like suggest some narrative and storytelling
Well,
here.
I knew that, when I did this one, I thought, oh, that is not good the way it is, but I couldn't do anything with it because I had to set.
You know,
But yeah, I get it.
like so much better. So take
It
away the
is.
arm, take away that flower. And I think what we do as we have what's called like our resolution techniques. So it's like you're going to go to because you're learning, right? You're growing and you're learning, but you're going to have your like, when this happens, I'm going to do this.
Uh-huh.
And
Uh-huh.
when this doesn't look right, I'm going to add something specific, right? And that's fine, but it's what I'm seeing is that that's not the end of it. Like, you
Hmm.
can add that specific thing, but then you need to blend that specific thing. You're not
Right.
like
Yeah.
putting that on and it's done.
Right.
You need
Right.
to get
Right.
integrated into the other layers of the work that you have pre-existing, right?
Hmm.
So
Okay.
also,
Great. Yeah.
I think that just lightening up this whole side, you
Okay.
is helpful, getting rid of that other arm, taking away that flower, and then putting some clear medium over her face,
Hmm.
so that she's just lighter. And then see where you're at. I still
Okay.
think that these flowers over here could get light.
I would, yeah, I would, and there's texture on them. Because they've built up layers of wax. So
Right. Maybe they get scraped down a little bit.
yeah, I could do that.
I mean, I just lighten them, just like I just lighten them a little bit like that. That's even better.
More. Okay.
You
All
know.
right.
So
Mm-hmm.
again, you can lighten them by putting wax medium on them. You can lighten them by adding, if you're struggling, I understand what you're talking about struggling with the white, because even though it seems logical that the white would work, it
Mm-hmm.
doesn't always work in that way.
Okay.
Sometimes it just looks dumb, like you just added white. Like it just sits on top and looks dumb. It doesn't have any shape. It just doesn't, it's not translucent enough to actually do it. So sometimes what you have to do is scrape back a little bit and then add the white, or
Yeah.
add the white and scrape back. You could try adding the white and fusing it. It's like you kind of have to like manipulate
Uh-huh.
that a little bit to go in there.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
Great. It does. Makes a lot of sense.
I think this looks a lot better. Also,
It is. Yeah.
let me show you just really quick. Oh, wait, I don't know how to do it. Hold on, I'm going to cancel that. I'm going to do the save as a copy. There's my friend. So you can look at Frida Kahlo's work, and
Okay.
also look at my friend. She is a painter. She lives in Florida now. She got like a really good, I'm so jealous actually. She got a really good college, a tenured college
Oh
professor.
my gosh.
Yeah,
Wow.
at
Wow.
like a small college in Tallahassee, but like who cares, because like she gets tons of money just to paint. It's part of like when you're a part of an academic program, you get paid to paint and show, like they want you to show.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So it's basically anyway. So, but her name is Carrie Ann Bada, and she
Oh.
paints
Oh.
herself. These are all self portraits.
Wow.
But I think this work will really inspire you, because I think that you're trying to tell these sort of archetypal, like feminine narratives,
Mm-hmm.
use the wax. So she does them with oil paint, but they're very beautiful. And she distorts the face, and she distorts the scale of the face, right? And includes some interesting elements, I think.
Here's something that when we looked at that last picture with the orchids, I had a little 3x5 that I had up there just to see what what I was going for. And then I thought, why don't I just put the 3x5 on top of, that whole thing with her that wasn't working on the left side.
Uh-huh.
I thought, but I can't add it. I can't do a collage on something that's been waxed.
You can add a rice paper, or you could add a piece of magazine. You can add it. Where do you want
Right.
it? Like this one? On this,
Well, yeah. Remember, you had cropped it so it was just the head and some of the flowers. So
this one?
that yeah. So and I was saying, why not just put the picture again, maybe a variation of it, but down in the lower left corner. But how would I get it on if I have all
Another
that?
flower, another one of these flowers.
No, it would just be that same picture.
Oh, of her figure.
Yeah, maybe in a different form. Like your friend cuts the face out, or
Yeah. So I
but
do all
yeah,
that.
how would I get it down there?
I if it's on rice paper or if it's printed on anything that's light enough that the wax will absorb it, you can fuse it into the piece.
Okay.
So basically, you basically lay the paper on the. We could talk about this in our next session, but you basically lay the paper on there. You kind of brush the wax on there. You lay the paper on there, and then you use the heat gun to kind of melt underneath it, and then it just
Oh.
connects. It fuses with.
Uh-huh. But it has to be like rice paper. So I would ask you if you
It would
I
have
have
to be rice
size
paper. You could probably find some paper to run through your home printer. I mean, even if it was on a newsprint. I mean, people get very creative. I follow a lot of these jelly plate artists.
Oh yeah, you would yeah.
And one of them was talking in a post last night. I mean, sometimes I'll be really interested in them. I'll just start reading their posts because they're very generous with information.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I find a lot of photographers and encaustic artists like not as generous with their techniques.
Mm-hmm.
So these jelly plate, I mean, she literally put the link on where she bought the printer. She put the step-by-step instructions. She put the toner she used. She literally put the link for the paper she used. You know what I mean? It was like
Yeah. Yeah.
very like generous. She was actually
Mhm.
giving away this information. I was like, oh my God,
Wow.
amazing. But I mean, long and short of it, like it could be possible that whatever printer you have at home, there might be a lightweight equivalent,
Uh-huh.
some
Okay.
copy paper or text paper that would be fusible with the wax.
Yeah. Okay. So just
It-
all right. So there are options because I looked at it. I thought, I don't like that lower left side. What and the picture was right there. Oh, okay.
right, but I don't know that adding more content is going to
Right. Okay. That's a whole nother
do
thing. Right.
that. I feel. Let me go back. I feel like the quiet of the water is okay. I don't think that the content is gonna.
Yeah. No, I like what you've done to fix it. So I will go back and I'll work with that. But
I
it just
think the scale of her dress to her head is still small,
yeah.
but I don't mind that. I don't mind it. I really don't mind it. I think it's part of the dream effect that the flowers are bigger than her head is smaller than the flowers, and then her body's smaller than her head. And it's kind of like,
It's got kind of a descendant. Yeah. I mean, it's just such a challenge because the whole drawing and painting thing is.
I know it is a challenge. It's like, well, it's like you're learning a whole new medium. One other thing that you could think about, right, is you could think about like literally painting the dress out wider.
I'll do that. I see it, and I'm just wondering about her shoulder. That
Like,
now it's
like
like I
I'm
should have
trying to
had that.
draw this like a little bit.
Well, and what about her shoulder? Opening that up. Oh, that's nice. I like that. So so it's not as.
I mean, if you just highlight it, that's enough.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, just
cool.
and then I mean, I feel like this is bothering you.
Yeah.
So add more, kind of like we did before, add more fabric.
Oh yeah, yeah. I like that, and it helps balance out those big flowers. Yeah, great.
Yeah, and then make this arm the other arm can disappear.
Yeah, got it. I got it.
All right, I'll save
Get rid of the claw. Okay. Thank you. Okay. All
I think
right.
that's really nice.
Thank you so much. Okay,
Great.
I'll email you about what we can set up for the next time, but
Okay.
okay,
Wait,
great.
talk to me a minute before you run away. I'm gonna stop recording, but talk to me a minute about coming to.
Oh,
Wait, hold on.
I just thought,
Hold on.
I thought if, let me know, well, first of all,